Wait, no, wait a minute.
Okay, keep talking about an anime.
Yeah. Oh, they've gone quiet now.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay,
this is wait, hold on. No. Brian said that Frozen animation is anime. Frozen animation is not anime. This is anime. This Japanese styled animation. Whereas...
And what we're discussing today is the movie Akira. Okay, go on.
Brian, what are your thoughts on Akira? He's muted himself.
All right.
I don't know. Let's see. Pretty colors and.
All right.
Sorry, just a minute.
I can create background image to it. I like the colorful backgrounds and colors to the characters, and the big rainbow tank was cool. So, and I mean, it was a big. It honestly felt like an anime Watchmen. I think they actually made one at the once, but it kind of felt like that to me a little bit in a way. But
okay, so this was made by Katashiro Otomo and written by Katashiro Otomo, and it was a 1989 movie.
Yes.
I'm checking that again.
1988.
1988, and I got the VHS in around about 1995 or 6 or something. So this is like my original VHS of this movie. It's a good one. It's a really good.
And that
movie.
still works.
Still works. Still really pretty. So I enjoy this, and I'm glad we got to watch it. It was a good idea, Ethan. Whichever direction Ethan is for me, that fellow, he's the one who suggested it. So like his opening thoughts now that we've heard from Brian. So go for it, Ethan.
Yeah, because it was a nice long Japanese film worth for 2 hours. I did enjoy it.
No.
Oh, thank you for that, Ethan.
I was going to say, there's 2 Ethans apparently. Don't know if that's a dangerous thing, more than one Ethan, but...
Yes,
but
anyway, Don't touch.
I'm a clone.
Yeah. So yes, Akira, one of the absolute best animes of all time to me, and it's definitely one of the most beautifully animated films of all time. And this was like one of the most expensive. It was something like about, I believe, 1.7 billion yen in Japan. So in America, that's like about, no, sorry, the budget's 1.1 billion yen. So that's 9 billion in American. So it was the most expensive animation film of that time. And this was like the first true animation film to be broadcasted to a wider audience, like the Western culture. And was like where everybody around the world was like, oh, wow, I've never seen an animation like this before, especially for adults. As it is, it's set in a dystopian 2019. It's about a bike gang, one of them who I believe is called Kanada, and his friend Tetsu. And it's Neo Tokyo, as it's known now, because the Tokyo that it used to be was destroyed by a mysterious explosion, and no one knows what it was. So about 30 years after this explosion, after a big motorbike fight with a rival gang, Tetsu is just about nearly killed in a car crash. Well, a crash. And he meets this little kid who doesn't look normal but has powers. And Tetsu is taken away, experimented on, and gets the power of telekinesis, and they learn about the mysterious being known as Akira, which was the cause of the explosion 30 years prior that destroyed Tokyo. And it is about like powers beyond that we know, and the power of a god, and experimentations that we should never do. And it is a very cyberpunk story. I mean, it has everything from like Blade Runner, and it's influenced like many animations after this. Like there's one scene, that bike, the bike break scene where he, Kanadi hits someone, breaks like that. That's been used in every animation I've ever seen. Batman the Animated Series, in the episode Robin's Reckoning. Robin does it, exact same thing. Lupin the Third even does it in one of the movies, does that. It's been Ninja Turtles. It's been used in every animation. So it's influenced all the great animators. I believe the animators were called, because I had to look this up to make sure, it's called the TMS Entertainment. And they are big pioneers of animation. And believe it or not, they are behind Lupin the Third animation. And they've done it for, like, before Akira, they did Lupin the Third, loads of others. And believe it or not, if it wasn't for these guys, we would never have got some of the animation that we knew in the 80s or in the 90s.
The chief animator was a guy named Takashi Nakamura, and he is like the quintessential animator.
Yep.
And the art director is Toshimaru Mitsuani, and then the producer is Rohei Suzuki. So that's the TNS.
That's it. Yep. And they gave us many animations that were just like fluid and extremely beautiful. One example, if it weren't for Lupin the Third, we would never have got a certain 80s cartoon. They were originally going to do a cartoon called Lupin the 13th or the 16th, one of them, about a descendant of Lupin set in the far future. They're all descendants anyway. Never picked up. There is the pilot on YouTube, but there's no voice, it's just the music. And they were going to show this to a Western audience. Never went through. They just said, no, stick to Lupin the Third. But then the Americans said, well, actually, there's one thing we love about this Lupin the 13th. And they said, oh, what's that? We love his gadgets. And this Lupin had a hat with helicopter coming out. And he had extendable legs. For this cartoon, we would never have got Inspector Gadget. And yep, then TMS Entertainment after this, because the Western audience loved it, they managed to do Batman the Animated Series. If it weren't for Akira, we wouldn't have got one of the best cartoons of all time. We wouldn't have got Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, what's the other one? Taz of Tasmania, Pinky and the Brain, Freakazoid. All those cartoons are TMS Entertainment. And what's funny is you get little cameos in these cartoons from Akira. And there was one in Animaniacs, Jigen from Lupin the Third. And it's really weird. But they did give us a very beautifully animated film, which is still ahead of its time. I mean, the opening scene where they're on the motorbikes and that haunting music kicks in, that sort of tribal music. And you see all the neon lights and the holograms, the whole Blade Runner-esque beauty of it. And I suppose it can be an acquired taste because it is quite a different kind of sci-fi story. And it is a violent movie. I mean, this is back in the days of anime where they were gritty and violent. Me and Lee have spoken about this. I mean, the quintessential animes of that time were Fist of the North Star, which was basically a violent Mad Max with Bruce Lee style action, Crying Freeman, and if you've got the guts to watch this, Legend of the Overfiend, and which has a very big snake, or so I thought when I was a kid. It isn't. But what was the other one? What was the other anime? Oh, Ninja Scroll. And they were like very beautifully animated animations where people saw it. And we'd never seen anything like this before. We were all like, holy crap, wow, this is amazing. But yeah, it's a very, very influential movie. It's even influenced live action films. The Dark Knight's one of them, which you could sort of see with Batman's motorbike in The Dark Knight. They got that from Akira.
And it's definitely not for children.
No, yeah. And this is anime where it's not for children. It was violent, it was bloody, it was gory, it was frightening. And there's a lot of frightening scenes, which I'll get to. But yeah, very amazing movie. And I've always said, if you can give this a try, okay, for some, it doesn't have a Disney princess, but still give it a try. Come on, free your mind and just watch it. Give it a shot. It's a great animated movie. But that's my opening thoughts. Over to you.
I think that comment was aimed at me. Somehow, Ethan.
Agreed. So with that, we'll go over to Lee. What do you think, Lee? What's your opening thoughts on this?
Right, this will be my third time watching this movie in the whole, since 1988. So it's been a few years since I last saw it. So it's my third time watching it. I agree. I agree with what Ethan says. Without this movie, you wouldn't have had anything after that. It's the animation. I mean, we was used to animation in the 80s of Japanese cartoons for kids. We were used to that. You had your Dog and Ulysses and stuff like that, and Battle of the Planets, G-Force or whatever it was called. But this, as I say, 1988 was not for kids. This was for grown-ups because, as I say, it's bloody, it's violent. There's breasts, shall we say that? There's I say violence and blood. There's guns. There's mutations. There's but the story is a good science fiction story. As even said, the telekinesis. I can't remember the name of the kid. Is it? I've got the characters' names down here because I'm not good at. No, there's number 25 and number 26.
Oh,
and
25, 26, and 28.
Yeah, the three little kids in this. They're so creepy. They are so, and the skin tone is sort of like grey blue skin. But they've got all these powers, but they're just creepy out by just looking at them. But
it's kind of like they're kind of like Village of the Damned kids, aren't they?
There's Kai, and then there is.
I'm just looking at the Kai was. You got Canada.
Yeah.
Becomes the hero of the movie, but through the movie, you don't seem to like him because he's like he's the boss of the motorbike gang, and he treats his other gang members like crap, really, the way he talks to them. But he becomes the hero of the movie. Then you say you've got Tetsuo, who Akira becomes part of him. He's the he's the catalyst of all what happens in the movie. He gains these powers after they've cured him of what when he had the accident, and then they experimented on him, and he discovered all these telekinesis powers, and he gets stronger and stronger, which is the scenes in that where he's uncontrollable, and he knows he is, and he knows he's got this power, and then he says, "Stuff this! I'm just going to go for it," and he does as well. Which some of the scenes in that where he just totally wrecks buildings, the city, and well, nearly the world by the end of the movie. But yeah, I mean, I watched the dub version this week, the English dub version, and as Ethan said, that's as close to the original.
Yes. There were two dubs. The first dub was done by a company called Streamline, who are famous for doing the dub for Castle Cagliostro. And good for the time, I will say. But the one I watched was done by Pioneer a company called Pioneer, which are very good. And these are the voices behind Lupin the Third cartoons that have been going on for years. Reason I know that is, what's her name? Kay. That's it. Is it Kay? Yeah. Kay, who is the love interest of Kanada. She is voiced by Fujiko Mine, Michelle Ruff, the actress is, because she's got quite a distinctive, sort of smooth, sexy lady voice. And there's hints of that when, even though she's meant to be a young woman in this, there were hints. I thought, wait, that's Fujiko, isn't it? Looked up, yeah, it's Fujiko from Lupin. But their dialogue is much closer to the Japanese script, and it's done great. Because I think I did watch the
streamlined subtitles in the actual VHS that we have are dead on, are absolutely accurate.
Yeah.
My roommate Steven in California was a huge anime fan. He was an otaku, and he was interested in the fact that I had Akira, and suggested that in fact that it was completely accurate subtitles.
Yeah. I think because with subtitles, they always subtitles do get it dead on. There's a difference between subtitles getting it dead on and voice actors where there may be some slight differences with it, but the dub I watched got it pretty accurate for what it's worth, and it was a very good one that I will recommend now to say subtitle or this dubbed watch. But anyway, over to you, Lisa. Thanks
for that. Yeah. Also, as well, this being an anime movie, I mean, it's just over 2 hours long, which was really unheard of back then. You know, being that long for an animation, and it was such a success as well. It's made its money so many times over. But I say the story, the action, it doesn't drag. It keeps you enthralled from beginning to end, and you get to feel for some of the characters in this. You've got I can't remember the is it just the Colonel? Is it the Colonel who's?
The Colonel.
The Colonel.
They call him Amy in the
let me ask you a question.
in the cast list. Go ahead.
Okay, now Ethan, what do you think about this? The anniversary editions, the special editions, the Blu-ray. There's one with like a black tin box or a black tin case.
I don't think. I don't know because I haven't watched it for a while. But I'll probably get around to that after Lee's done his bit. I'll do that for like moments and stuff.
Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter what packaging you put it in; it's still going to be the same movie. But yeah, I said the voice acting is in this is brilliant as well as it's been said. But I just like the story. I mean, I like anything sci-fi and end of the world sort of thing. And this is, and the way because you get the feeling that they have been experimenting on the other 3 kids as well with these powers, to get the powers more and more. I mean, those 3 kids working together are a power. Beware of those 3. I mean, there's some creepy scenes in this as well. What the kids create when Tetsuo is in the hospital bed trying to, and those scenes with the toys and. That's just stuff of nightmares, which the Japanese anime are just so brilliant at doing. But yeah, as I say, this will be my 3rd time watching it, and it's brought back some good memories. So yeah, it was good. Good suggestion, Ethan. Over to you, Susan. This is me for now.
All right. So, Ala, do you want to say anything about anime or any of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the film was all right. The animation is really good, like the city and all that looks excellent, and the monsters. But the story, it's too dark and gloomy. I mean, it's set after World War III, and they've rebuilt. Tokyo's been destroyed or whatever, and there's mutations and things, and there's scenes of like. There's darker scenes. There's a lot of blood. there's rape and stuff like that. It's a bit too dark for my liking. A bit too dark of an animation. I much prefer my animation to be more
Disney and Princess and Frozen.
well, yeah. Yeah.
He just wants Frozen.
That is the only three.
Yeah, I mean.
All right. Well, we'll have to review Frozen.
I'll need to ask you later, what one do you prefer, Frozen 1 or 2? I'll ask you that later.
Well, just hold that off, Ethan, for the cast. We're doing a Frozen cast eventually.
Into the unknown.
Just relax.
Into the unknown.
So what's your favorite moments, Lee? Since we'll flip this around and go backwards.
Well, I've mentioned one of them is with where the three kids are. I don't know if they're trying to torment Tetsuo or get him away from them. When he was in the bed and the giant teddy and the giant rabbit and this.
I think they were trying to get him away because they could sense the evil and corruption that was in him, and they were trying to.
Because Akira was building up in him. Yeah. But also, as well, what made me laugh, the scene with the committee, all the old guys sat around the table discussing what they're having to do, and then they all start arguing. And, it's all your fault. That's so well done. A bit of comedy in it as well, just like the load. But for me, one of the best scenes is where Tetsuo is nearly fully blown Akira powered or what you want to call it, where he's lost his arm in the battle, and then he sort of attaches a metal arm, then he starts to groan. I mean, that is so well animated, the creature he's sort of turning into, and he's pleading for help from his friend. That scene there is just awesome. And say the battle scenes between him and what's the guy's name? The character's name? Canada. Yeah, Canada. It sounded like before, but the battle scenes between those two. I mean, they were friends to begin with, but then they sort of became enemies through the movie. So it was just so well done. I mean, Canada had no special powers at all, and then you've got Tetsuo who's gaining all this Akira power, and it was just those two against each other. It's just so well drawn and put together. I think there's sort of things like that I just love, and the scene in the sewers with the hover bikes things. That's so well done as well. It's so fast paced as well, that scene. But I just love all that. But yeah, there are a few of the moments I like.
Can I say some of my favourite moments?
There we go.
No.
Susan.
I'm only joking.
Can I say some of my favourite moments?
Yeah, sure. Go.
Everything Lee said.
Okay, good.
Now over to Brian.
No. Over to Ethan. Ethan is next in line.
Ethan, thank you, Susan. Go. Yeah. I think they've been pretty much mentioned, but yes, the animation in this, the kinetic energy in this is so amazing to watch. I would have loved to have seen this on the big screen and be blown away by this. I mean, it must have been intense to watch, but the energy in this, like the opening scene, I've said this, the bike gang, the fight, you've got Kanada's bike gang against the clowns, I think they're called. Yeah, the clown bike gang. What an opening scene. I mean, my God, you see all this stuff. And that's one of them. There's one little scene, actually, which I recognized. If you've ever seen the Batman the Animated Series movie, Mask of the Phantasm, I recognized this instantly. And it's been done in this, where the clowns attack Tetsuo and Tetsuo's girlfriend, and they do try to rape her. But then Kanada does one of the best things you'll ever see, where he just off the bike, runs over, and he jumps on the bike and kicks the guy off. That's used in Batman. Bruce Wayne does that to a thug in the movie Mask of the Phantasm. Exact same scene and animation. And I thought, it's just all these influential moments that I've seen done. Brilliant. And as it's mentioned, the hover bike, but one scene that always stuck with me, and it has been mentioned, were the toys. If the Japanese are good at one thing, it's animation, and it's just disturbing horror. I mean, this was just horrific. You had these toys going, and you're thinking, what is going on here? But then they turn to these horrific big things and like turn into milk and stuff, twisting the bodies and stuff. I mean, bloody hell, but great animation. The animation's amazing, but my God, that is disturbing as hell. But it's fantastic, but it's so horrific. And no wonder Tetsuo becomes an absolute psychopath by the end of it, this evil, maniacal lunatic. And then, of course, you got the fight where, I can't remember which one it's called, but the girl, one of the kids, the little girl who has the powers, she's sort of using Kei as a vessel to take on Tetsuo. And they start the big fight using the force fields, bounce off and like moving at super speed and stuff. Again, animation's brilliant. And you've just got some of the most brutal scenes you'll ever watch, like Kei's mate who dies while the city's gone to hell. You know, he's going down, and it's a brilliant bit where he's just on his knees. You think, is he going to be all right? He's going to be all right. But all these people go, as soon as the people go, you just see his head's laying down. He's gone. He's dead. Lee's mentioned it. Like another famous bit when Akira and Tetsuo become one completely. And then he just becomes this horrific mass, and he realizes, shit, what have I done? You know, I've got to stop it. Help me, you know, and I mean, bloody hell, what happens to his girlfriend, Kiaori, whatever her name is? I mean, crushed. Jesus Christ. I mean, I remember watching this as a kid. I was like, oh, but yeah, brilliant scene. And they take him to an alternate dimension. I mean, it's just brilliant, the animation. But those are my favorite moments. It's just filled with memorable stuff. But those are my favorite moments.
Thanks, Ethan. And let's go to Brian then for anything that really stuck out to you.
The turtle, we know that. I think there was one, but
yes. I don't know what to say for favorite moments.
All right. Well, would you like to? Would you like to rate it then?
Because I just watched this movie within the Japanese form. I didn't see any English subtitles or whatever.
Yeah, but you must have had a favorite scene. Like, think about the animation and the energy and stuff like that. Did you like that bit?
I mean, with an anime
and the toys and stuff like that.
I think this might be the first anime that I've ever seen in my life, other than
what? No.
Yeah.
No. Wait there. We've done a few.
Really?
Has he been on? He wasn't on Lupin.
Kubo.
No, he wasn't on Lupin.
No.
But we did Kubo also.
I don't think I've been on that with you though. I can't remember. But
we still get random likes on the Kubo from all different places all over the world.
But,
really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like Dragon Ball and Pokemon. But
Pokemon.
I've
It's the way you say it, Brian.
I've seen those like anime, like whether it be TV show or movies. But other than that, and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, hold on. They're anime.
There are anime.
Yeah,
so you have seen anime.
No, but I'm saying like other than those, other than those main things of like here in the U.S.
So those are sort of mainstream in the U.S., I guess.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I have any other than those
mainstream children's programs.
Yeah.
So yeah. But as my first anime, I guess on a feature film, and also in Japanese.
Your first Japanese film as well.
Yes, because I've seen the whole thing within Japanese.
even though he doesn't speak Japanese.
I was
Mind you, it doesn't make any difference to his review anyway.
I was you guys were reviewing. You guys were reviewing in
All right.
So how is it?
He understands it.
Brian,
but
I would like
he
you to
understands
give it a
everything else.
rating. I'd like you to give it a rating from what you can you think. Okay.
Okay. From what I could mostly picture and understand it, even though it was in Japanese, I think I would probably give this 7 pretty pictures.
I knew he was going to say 7. I
Okay.
knew he was going to say 7.
All right. So, Alan, what would you say for what you got out of it?
Well, I've got to be fair, even though I don't like this type of animation and it was way too dark and the mood of it was dark and everything, it was gory and there were freaky scenes and everything, but this was a groundbreaking film for its time. And it's definitely, even though it wasn't, I don't think it's very popular at first, was it?
See,
but it's definitely popular now. What's the matter, Brian?
no, I was just gonna say, all of you seem saying that it was a bit dark. From what I was watching, like in Japanese, I didn't think it was dark at all. I didn't think
because you didn't understand the film, because you couldn't hear what was going on.
I just went with the movie and just went with the flow mostly.
All right. All right. So, what would you rate it, Alan?
Wasn't it a comic book first or something, a graphic novel?
Yeah.
What was a film?
It
Yeah.
was
It was a manga.
It was a manga / comic in 1981, 82 or something like that. So yeah.
This is a long-standing manga. It came out of the actual book publishers. In like there was a lot of them in the late 70s and early 80s, like a whole bunch of them, and they became things like Vampire Hunter D and the Slayers and Gundam and stuff like that. So these were the early manga, early anime, and so what would you? I just want to hear what Alan would like to rate it, and then I'll throw it over to you, Alex.
Okay.
Even though it's, like I say, it's not for me, but I do recognize that it's had a massive influence. So I'm going to go over 7.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
what would you say?
I'm going to give it I'd give it an 8 just based on the style and the animation alone. I mean, you can see that they really worked hard to make this movie look really good. Unfortunately, most of what I remember is what Siskel and Ebert said, because this was from the old days. I grew up watching Speed Racer, which wasn't, I don't know if that was actually anime or manga, but you had Speed Racer. Then I saw Voltron, the original version. Then you had Star Blazers, which was sort of a mix. I know a lot of diehard fans said that they kind of ruined it. They corrupted it when they brought it over.
So you like your anime, do you, Alex?
No, I only like a few. I only like a few. I like the Voltron and I like the Star Blazers. But you can see that, if this has made $50 million, it definitely had an effect. The animation is great. You can see that people have
Ethan,
imitated.
can I just point out for Ethan that mentioned a comment earlier about Disney princesses? It's made 50 million. How much has Frozen made, Alex?
Do I want to know? Do I want to know?
Ethan, how much has Frozen made? How much has Frozen made, Ethan?
Well, wait a minute.
We don't need to. We don't need to go into talking about Frozen.
No. Come on, Ethan.
During this really cool anime.
No.
We need to stick with the Akira.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
No. Hold on. Ethan made a dig at Disney princesses and Frozen. Now, how much has Frozen made, Ethan?
I'd have to look it up or something. I don't know.
It's made over $1 billion. How much is this? How much is this made?
Song.
How much is this made?
Guys, convene aside. Let's concentrate on Akira.
Okay, but
Akira.
I think I win the argument.
But here's the,
I'll get back here. I'll get back here. Now back to Akira.
here's the other issue. Is it fair to compare like a 60s cartoon to now or a 70s cartoon to now, though?
Good point.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yes.
He made the
There we
Disney
go.
princesses.
There we
He
go.
made-
That's a point. There we go. That's a good
Can I
point.
just say, Ethan brought it up
Yeah, okay.
I know he did.
because he mentioned Disney princesses.
Bring it up.
I'm going to put him on the spot. I'm going to ask him for his final say and score.
Mine, yeah?
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
All right.
Enough
That's
said.
easy.
A 10 out of 10. I do love this film. It's a very good film. I watch anything, and I like any. I'm an old-fashioned geek, a lover of all things.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it's good, obviously. But this is brilliant. So a 10 out of 10. 10 motorbikes.
Fantastic. And Lee, what's your final say and score?
Well, I've just remembered another anime when Ethan was listing a few. Do you remember Devilman?
Yes. That was a pretty messed up one.
Oh, yeah.
Very messed up one.
Yes, we'll go back to Akira. Yeah, you've got to acknowledge, without this, we wouldn't have had what we've got today. This has influenced a hell of a lot in animation. Storytelling, graphic-wise, you know, be it live-action movies, be it animation, it has influenced it. It's an enjoyable movie. For me, I'm going to give it a 10 because it did bring back. So say this is my third time watching this, and it brought back some good memories from the two previous watches. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And here's another thing.
Wait.
The fact that Frozen is about two sisters, Akira's not about sisters.
You talk about Frozen.
Hey, I just
I know.
tried to stop you, but you were just...
I know.
These
Yeah,
guys
but
are
it's
on
more-
these frozen
Alex,
motorcycles.
Alex,
Here's a funny-
it's
here's a
more
funny
just
one.
two sisters, though.
Here's a funny one. If it weren't for Akira, you wouldn't have gotten Frozen, would ya?
Okay.
Can I just say, you would have, because Walt Disney was working on Frozen. It was an adaptation of the Ice Queen.
All right.
So yes, you would have had Frozen because they were working on it for a very long time.
Let me find out.
You would. Akira's not. I'm sorry, but Akira's not that good.
Lee, did you finish?
Oh, well.
Now, I'm just saying, someone mentioned the Ice Queen, otherwise known as Alid. Over to
Okay.
you.
My experience with this,
Cold.
it's long term. Long term. I love this. I've loved this in Vampire Hunter D, and the my favorite anime was Inuyasha. I watched maybe like 300 episodes, 400 episodes of that. I love that so much. It was so good. And what's cool about anime is that you can always tell who the really evil person is by how light their hair color is. The lighter the hair color, the more evil the person is. You could tell that Kaneda and Tetsuo were not going to be totally evil, even though they were fighting each other, because their hair was so dark. But these little babies who were sitting there manipulating them, and this general guy who has hardly any hair at all, those are the colonel. I mean,
Oh, I thought you were pointing to Alex.
no, this one. All of these are on the behind on my virtual backdrop are here. All the characters are there, so you don't have to even like imagine them. You can see them. There are the clown people. There's Canada, and there's Tetsuo, and there's there's Tetsuo. There is Kai. I mean, it's just Kay. I mean, it's all, they're all there. Anyway, so the lighter the hair color, these little babies and their little military. You know, they manipulated the military into creating a study on these powers. And I love the little crowns, the crown of power that was created. It was rainbows and beautiful, and it was so intricate. And like that's my absolute favorite moment in the whole thing, is watching the crown, because it's talking about the power that these kids and this Akira have. And to me, that's really amazing. And it's really something that I have never seen in anything before or after. It was really amazing. So I'll give it 10 rainbow crowns out of 10. And I'd like to thank everybody here for joining us. And I'd like to say, domo arigato. Domo arigato gozaimasu. To all of you, and Aishite, Alex, that means I love you. And I just wanted to say that it's really fun to be able to talk about all of these other things from all of these other cultures. And so kudos to Geeks Assembled, because we do touch the beautiful stuff in all these different places. And we can be fans of it for long term. I mean, I literally I've traveled all over with this. This is one of my prized possessions. And it's definitely not for children. So don't watch it if you're kids. But none of our videos are really aimed for children anyway. So I'm glad that
YouTube, they're not. No.
Well, I watched it as a kid, and look what happened to me.
Oh, I know. Oh, dear.
That explains a lot. Yeah, that explains a lot.
No.
Brian,
all right,
Brian
thanks
didn't
for
watch
watching.
it.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to get the notifications, and leave a comment below. What's your favorite anime? Do you read manga? What do you think of Inuyasha? What do you think of Akira? What do you think of all those five animes that Lee and Ethan have mentioned of the darker kind? And what do you think of the imagery? And
it's pretty.
And what American major motion picture company would you like to see take over anime?
Disney.
Anyway,
can I just add one more thing?
Those are my questions. Please leave your comments below.
Can I add one more thing? Susan, can I add one more thing? Frozen is far better.
All right. Well, we already knew you were going to say that, so you probably that would make me fall into the category of goes without saying. Please don't say. Anyway, we'll talk about other things later. Thanks, guys, and mushy mushy.
Bye.
Sayonara.
What the hell was that? That is scary. It's freaking me out.
What's the battery? Oh,